Welcome and greetings. Welcome back to another pick a card reading. So these are the lovely piles. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 piles that we are going to be working on today. So what are we doing today? Who am I? I am Shoshana. And I am a scanner and diagnoser. I do not use tarot. I do not search for downloads. I do not channel. I am a scanner and diagnoser. Any healing that I conduct in these readings are not meant for the wicked. If you are a wicked individual, or if you are a lower vibrational parasitic witch or warlock, my healing channel will not work on you. It is only meant to benefit those people who are of love and genuine, authentic light. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and begin our reading. So what are we doing today? I didn't answer that question. We are overcoming narcissistic abuse waves. No matter how much energy work you do, no matter how much healing you try to do, there's always unresolved trauma. There are spontaneous triggers that re-traumatize you. And then we have to start all over, right? So the topic of the day is overcoming narcissistic abuse waves. I call them waves because they come in waves and you feel hopeless and everyone gets attacked in a different way. So I really like using different piles so we can kind of see which angle we need to work on with you. These are, again, just general scans and general diagnostics because it's a collective group, so it may or may not resonate with you. We are beginning with those of you who chose pile 1. This is not about what the cards mean. This is about what you are attracted to. Pile 1 is an undecisive individual. Pile 2 is an individual that feels orphaned. Pile 3, pile 4, and pile 5, an angry man. Okay? It does not matter if you are a male. It does not matter if you are a female. Simply choose the pile or the group, the card that you feel drawn to. These are timeless readings. So one day you might be attracted to this one, but another day you might be attracted to that one. Are we ready? Let's go ahead and begin with the undecisive individual. In live time, you seem to be experiencing anguish. So I'm going to put these over here out of the way, and let's just kind of put these on top of that one so you know that's the one we are working on today. Pile 1. Overcoming the narcissistic abuse. Now, let me make something clear. This is not going to help you if you are in a romantic dynamic or a situationship, a lover who is narcissistic. This is for people who are trying to overcome trauma from their childhood, from being brought up in a dysfunctional family, a mother or a father that chose alcohol or drugs or any kind of substance abuse or gambling over their child. Okay? So this is overcoming narcissistic abuse from parents, not lovers. And really, you should not be dating a narcissist anyway, because they need to learn their lesson. They need to kill their ego. And you shouldn't, if you came from narcissistic parents, you're going to have narcissistic tendencies or narcissistic traits, narcissistic temptations that you can easily cut off. You cut them off and you say, no, I'm not going to be like my mom. I'm not going to be like my father. I have nothing in common with them. I will not be those traits. You kill the ego. You slice off the ego, you chop up the ego, and then you become a new person, a better person, a better version of you. If you are suffering from any kind of narcissistic traits, tendencies, addictions, triggers, temptations to be narcissistic, then you should not date. If you are a self-absorbed TikTok addict, social media addict, you should not date, because you will do nothing but hurt people, because all you care about is yourself. So when you have overcome any kind of narcissistic behavior yourself, you feel a progression in your life, you feel breakthrough, but then these waves come out of nowhere. And that is what we're going to be clearing today, is overcoming these waves and trying to figure out how we can make them not come so often. Narcissistic abuse survivors, those waves come just as often as resentment, if not exactly the same. And it's interesting that the face that you have here is the same face that you have here. It's like, this is the life that I've been given. These are the parents that I was handed. These are my circumstances right now. What I want to tell this pile right now is you need to clear any kind of self-entitlement, because your parents had a lot of self-entitlement and you are not your parents. So we're going to take our sword and we're just going to be cutting these self-entitlement ideas, because the thing is, the child wants to mimic the parent. The child wants to copy the parent. And a lot of this indecision is coming from ego. The indecision, the anguish, it's ego. Break the ego like an egg. Crack it open. And it all goes all over the floor. Ego is disabled. What do you have left? When ego is disabled, there's no questions anymore. You have no more questions. It's ego that asks those questions. Well, how dare life give me this that has been handed to me? Not to say that you did not experience abuse of any kind. Not belittling that in any way, not in any single way. It's not about that. It's about removing these traits that are not yours. These self-entitlement traits that came from your narcissistic parents that chose themselves over you. Once you wash them away, the question marks are gone and it becomes a white piece of paper. Once upon a time, what are you going to fill the blanks in? Where are your new beginnings? You cannot blame people when you have no new beginnings, when you haven't written them. You haven't written down your new beginnings. You can't depend on other people to do anything for you. No one else has to lift a finger. I need to shut something off that keeps... Okay, so this group wants romance and passion. In order for you to have the best relationship possible, you're going to have to get rid of the ego. I might actually move this forward because I feel too far. You are blessed. You have everything that you need. And then these waves come in. What are your waves that come in? Anxiety. You feel lost all the time. You were never given a hand to hold, or so it feels that way. Sometimes we can date really nasty people that we didn't know were nasty people. It's not about how someone looks on the outside. It's about how they are truly on the inside. And just because this particular group might have dated a couple people that held your hand, it doesn't count. It doesn't count. And it's not acknowledged as someone who held your hand because they weren't good people. And this group just feels like ever since you were a child, all you wanted was someone to hold your hand and to care. And you know that you are blessed. You know that you have abundance. You know that you are capable to satisfy your romantic and passionate needs. You know that you're willing to make an amazing new beginning on a scratch white piece of paper. But moving forward gives you this anxiety of almost not being deserving or not feeling deserving. So you could win the lottery and you will still go into a panic mode. A date, your crush will ask you out and you will ghost them. This group has a lot of talent. I want to say lonely talent, or you feel like it's this lonely talent where you might have a big following, or you just have an ability that makes you stand out from the rest. And all this because somebody wasn't there for you who should have been there for you to hold your hand. Okay, now I remember why I pushed this table back to begin with, so I can have space. Okay, so with you, we're just going to basically put you in a bubble of safety. So you are in this bubble of safety where no one needs to be in there. Okay, so there's this false idea that somebody has to be inside that bubble with you. Maybe you were sexually abused at a very young age and your boundary was crossed, violated. So you had this meshed idea that somebody had to be there in that bubble with you. So we're going to put you in this bubble. It's like this happy yellow bubble that we're putting you in, a bubble of safety. And you're realizing that the more alone that you are, the safer you are, the more alone you are, the stronger your bubble, the stronger your shield. And you're realizing that it's a complete lie that somebody has to be inside your bubble for you to feel safe. Okay. Whenever something good happens to this pile, nothing is going to take it away from you. And if you have this fear instilled by your abusive parent or neglectful parent or parent that abandoned you, if you have this fear that just doesn't go away, that something is going to take it away, because you know what I found out is the fear of loss is not the same as limited mindset. The fear of loss is because your abusive parent would take things from you that you really, really loved. And your narcissistic parent knew that you loved it. They waited to see what your favorite one would be, and they would take the favorite one away. That's where that fear of loss comes from. And that's why it's so difficult to clear, because sometimes it's not a direct stem. Sometimes it's something that comes from somewhere that you don't expect. So every time you feel this anxiety, I want you to imagine that you're in this yellow, beautiful, happy bubble where nothing can penetrate, nothing, not even anxiety. Anxiety is not welcome in this bubble. And there's no need to hold anybody's hand, because you could hold your own hand. So if you feel like you need to hold someone else's hand for safety, you can hold your own hand in your bubble. It's a complete lie that you need someone else's hand to feel safe. You can hold your own hand. And when you hold your own hand, you actually grow your jindan, and you grow your chi, and you grow your life force. If you need a place to begin that little golden sphere right underneath your belly button, you can begin there. And from there, it grows big, 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 and surrounds you with safety. So your healing is a sensation of safety, feeling safe, knowing that you are safe. And if that fear is very heavy and you just can't get rid of it, you can make a door for that fear. Because sometimes, depending on what happened to you at such a young age, that fear just doesn't go away, and we can't sit here and sugarcoat anything. Sometimes it's really engraved. So when that's the case, I like to make a door. Okay, fine. That fear doesn't want to go away. Let's take that fear and make a door. So now you have a shield. You have your safety yellow bubble that says that you're safe. The fear that doesn't go away. You have a door now. So all you have to do is lock it. Say, okay, fine. I made a door for fear. I'm going to lock it. Because then you can visually see, okay, you locked the fear out. You locked it out. The door has to be facing the other way. So the fear is out, but you have a door for it. And then later on, when you figure out where that fear is actually coming from, then we can clear the door. But for now, we're going to have that door there, shut and locked. You have the key. No anxiety can come in. No fear can come in. You are safe. There's no need to look outside of yourself to feel safe. That comes after. Safety and being grounded is first. And then you can go out and mingle with other people. But the first and foremost important space that you want to be in, pile one, is a space of safety and grounding. I would avoid caffeine for this group. Try not to take a lot of caffeine. Whenever something really good happens, I want you to go back to your safety bubble, and I want you to journal if it helps you remind you. I have a journal in my brain. I don't need a physical journal. I write down, I have this journal that's in my brain. You write notes to yourself, reminders, and the reminder is my parents or my parent or my abuser took something away from me, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to lose anything else because they can no longer take anything away from me. Writing that down and reading it to yourself when you're having a panic attack will help remind you to differentiate that memory and fizzling it out. There's no need to have a fear of losing anything because the person who stole from you is no longer allowed in your space. Inspiration. So you're someone who gets inspired very easily. Okay. And I don't want to go there, but I have to go there. You experience jealousy from people because you are easily inspired and you're very talented at something. And when you have a breakthrough, you need to protect that breakthrough by not allowing another episode to happen again. Repeat to yourself when you have a breakthrough, when something good is happening to you. This is mine. This is mine. This is mine. Okay, so hopefully by you being able to kind of see what it is that you need to work on, you can use that method next time that you have a wave, as I like to call it. It's about knowing what to do when that wave comes, because if we make an error when those waves come, it just stays there. Crying, does crying help? Sure, I can't say crying does not help because you're releasing something when you cry, so it does help. If anything, it helps when it does not help if you don't cry. So if you feel the urge to cry and you don't because your ego is trying to block it, then the ego is literally blocking a release that needs to happen. Of course, using the color brown to help you ground. So let's say your bed sheets are too bright, getting khaki colors, warm khaki colors, duvet covers, bed covers, creamy khaki brown couch, a curtain that is that color, doing feng shui in your room and figuring out where's the best place to place these colors. As well as just energetically being grounded, and it's your episodes, you need to cut the loop, okay? We cut those loops because the loops of these particular episodes, and then we have watermelon, having fun with your inner child, allowing your inner child to come out. So whenever you feel like you're in a riddle or a puzzle, allow your inner child to come out and give you clues. Your inner child will tell you exactly what you need to clear, okay? Um Whenever these loops, okay, we're removing all these loops. These loops are there on purpose because they don't want you to get your breakthrough. It's very interesting. When you have a breakthrough, you start crying, and sometimes you don't even show up to receive your prize or your promotion. So when you get rid of those loops, I want you to visualize that all those loops that are trying to make you sabotage positive situations are agendas to purposely sabotage all of your blessings. So by you being introverted, overly introverted at the wrong time, you will experience loss. Okay? So it's very important for you to keep cutting those loops and saying no. I'm tired of going into a frenzy just because something positive happens. No. When the positive thing happens, you put yourself in your bubble of safety and you say, this is mine. This is mine. Okay? I hope that helps, pile one. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Where did this go? Okay, pile two. If you chose orphaned, a lot of you know who your biological father and mothers are, but you don't feel a connection with them. And you feel orphaned and you feel alone and you're tired of these waves. Let me begin by reminding you, for those of you who do feel orphaned, that we have cosmic mothers and cosmic fathers. We have positive guardians. Everyone believes in evil, right? Everybody believes in evil, but who believes in the Holy Spirit? Holy Ghost fire, Holy Ghost power, Holy Spirit, source. Heaven has its own team. of positive guardians, masters, spiritual animals, general soldiers. Okay? And we have been reincarnating for countless lifetimes, and we've had many mothers and many fathers that loved us very, very much the way that we needed them to. And sometimes we had parents that did not love us very much, that I guess would be considered some kind of karmic. But regardless of the living or the dead, we have cosmic mothers and fathers. Oh my Lord, have mercy. I need to pause this because there's a bug that I need to kick out from my room because I'm not going to have a bug flying around in my room. All right, I'm sorry about that. I was not successful. I could not get the bug. But I can't help it. It's springtime and it's so hot and all kinds of bugs are flying around. So let's continue on with the cosmic mothers and fathers. And I'm not saying to go out and reach out to them like, oh, can I reach out to my mom from 5 lifetimes ago? I would not recommend that. I am not recommending that. It's more of an energy that you can use for support. The energy of air. When we inhale, we are inhaling consciousness. We're inhaling our ancestors that loved us, even if they're not with us now, we're still inhaling that energy that we can just tapping into that cosmic love, the cosmic motherly guardian or fatherly guardian. It's more of an energy as opposed to a particular entity, which, you know what I mean? It's in the spiritual world, it's very tricky. It's very tricky to take things literally is one thing, and then there's the physical, and then there's the energetic, and then there's the spiritual, and then there's the subconscious. There's all these layers. So let's go ahead and begin with pile 2 in removing this orphan sensation. We are like leaves. We're all beautiful and green and yellow. And then we wither away and we become minerals. We become minerals for the earth and we reincarnate again. So there's no need for you to feel orphaned when there's this infinite connection within nature. There really is no such thing. Nature adopts. Nature adopts and nature adapts and nature protects other nature, and there's this connection. So loneliness or isolation or feeling of being alone, abandoned, and orphaned is actually an illusion. Okay, so let me just basically surrounding you in a sphere of your own authority, a sphere of your own truth, a sphere of your own dynamic power, a sphere of protection of it's basically made of your own power. okay? And all of the loneliness, all of the isolation, all of those lies are dissipating. They're just dissipating, okay? Dissipating away. They're just lies that you are alone. You have chosen to be alone as a protection mechanism. Everything that we have in our lives, we have chosen. We have chosen, whether it's a mistake, whether it's a lesson, whether it's a progression, we have chosen where we are in life right now. So if you are feeling lonely, it's because you've chosen to feel lonely. You've chosen to feel orphaned. When you are not, you are loved by your team, your positive team, and your positive guardians. We that are traumatized by how we were brought up, we don't need that validation from our abusers. Okay? We have departed loved ones. You are loved more than you'll ever know. For those of you who have lost certain relatives that were loving to you, this is the card where basically people who truly loved you while they were alive sending you their love from a distance. Someone does not have to be alive to send you love. I do not recommend reaching out to the deceased by any means because of the interferences that are too much of a risk. However, the other side has their way of sending you love, and it's better for that energy to come to you to validate something, whether it's in your dreams or through an omen, as opposed to us trying to go to it. Again, it's an energy. And then we have deep knowing. There is a deep knowing that you have. So when you go through this wave, you're going through this wave while having a deep inner knowing that that wave is not yours and does not belong to you and was thrown on you by your abuser. So let's get rid of that lie. We're going to get rid of that lie. And it's clearly a word that says that, you're alone, and we're basically erasing it. And the more that we erase it, the more clear another word comes. And that word is, you are not alone. So as we erase, you are alone, the harder that you erase, you are not alone, the shinier and gold, bold letters become. Polishing, let's polish it. And we're polishing the shiny gold that says, you are not alone. Okay? And convincing yourself of that, hammering that in. You are loved tremendously by your positive team. There's a reason for everything. And even though there is infiltration or contamination or contagions or lower vibrational agendas, higher vibrational agendas will use the lower vibrational agendas as a stepping stone, as leverage. as energy for transmutation. So anything that the lower vibrational people do to us will backfire on them ultimately. Releasing your anger and believing in yourself, being more dominant. This pile needs to be more dominant, believing in yourself, and burn to ashes what needs to be destroyed. Let there be destruction over all things that are hindering you and causing you anger. Release your anger by destroying and completely lighting to fire and destruction all of your hindrances and challenges. And that might include people and enemies. What color does this group need to incorporate more in their life? What color does this group need to incorporate more in your life? Nurturing yourself, the color orange. So here's the thing. A lot of times, narcissistic parents abuse the child because the child is really special and talented. And a lot of times in families that have multiple siblings, the narcissistic abusive parent will target the most talented one or isolate the most talented one. Isolated targeting, picking on the most talented one. So if you break that program of jealousy that ultimately the majority of narcissistic mothers seem to have is a jealousy over the daughter. And the father will sometimes just show straight hate towards the son, whichever way goes for you. Breaking that need for any of their validation and saying, wait a minute, let me crumble that up and burn it to ashes. The piece of paper that says that I need any kind of validation from those kind of parents that don't want to progress. So nurturing yourself and picking yourself up from the floor, grabbing the scraper and saying, no, I am not going to stay splattered on the floor, suffering from these narcissistic survivor waves. Because they decided to dispose of me because they did not want me to see the glitter within me. And this group, you have glitter. Your soul, your spirit has this glitter and it sparkles. And you have a deep knowing of it because you see it yourself. You know it. And it's like you want someone to tell you that you have it. But that's the thing. You have to go on without that validation. You have to go on being the only one that knows it and believing it and not caring if anybody else sees it. When you get to the point where you're doing what you're talented at and you don't care if anyone validates it and you're just happy and nurturing yourself, that's true happiness. There is when you don't need anybody's validation. When you realize that it's your abuser, it's your abuser's validation that you don't need. By you going into this narcissistic abuse survivor wave, you are once again signing a contract saying you need validation from that parent. And some of you in this group are still trying to get that from them. Whether that's a promotion at a job, where you tell your abuser, oh, I got this job, I made this money, I won this deal, I am a real estate agent now. Nothing that you say to that abusive parent is going to change them. Whether you're successful or not, it's not going to change the piece of crap parent that they were or are to you. So by you needing that validation, you are making a contract and you need to dissolve that temptation. Dissolve that temptation to even make a contract. There is no contract. There is no contract necessary. You don't need anything from that parent. In fact, you should isolate yourself from that abusive parent and research Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome is when you are attached to your abuser and you need to cut those cords. You don't need any validation from them. Maybe try blocking them and detoxing them from your life so that you can get back to your own power. Another interesting thing that I see with narcissistic abuse survivors, I wonder if I can code that. NAS. Is that when you're around them, when you're around your abuser or when you're around the parent, they disempower you. They disempower all of your abilities. So I recommend for this pile to keep a distance or block from that abuser. This group is extremely talented. There's something that you do that you know you're talented in. You don't need anyone's validation, okay? Making a difference. There's something in your life that you can do or modify, tweak, and by making that little difference, you can create a miracle. And I really feel like that little tweak has to be something in your mindset on how you look at things. No longer needing validation from no one, okay? There's no need to get any validation from anybody because that need is the sabotaging trap. That's about all the messages that I have for this very talented group, please keep doing your talent and stop believing the lies that put you back into those waves. Okay? Okay, let's go ahead and move on to pile 3. If you were attracted to this card, what are your narcissistic abusive survivor waves that come? It is so freaking hot. I live in Hawaii and I am so tired of the heat, I tell you. We have had nothing but heat every single day of the year. That might sound nice to people who live in the snow. The people who live in the snow would probably love a vacation out here, but to actually live here, we I wish that I could get a break and live somewhere cold, live somewhere colder, because the heat, there's all this damage that has been done to the ozone layer, so we don't have protection from the sun like we used to. So the heat is just, at the bottom of the deck we have satisfaction and passion. The heat is just so overbearing. It's really hard to concentrate when the heat is like this. Okay, pile 3. Your waves come when you're outside watching other happy families. So you could be in line and you just see this big happy family, and that will trigger your wave, is being outside and just admiring how is it so possible for a family to be so big and so happy. Or you will go to a wedding, someone will invite you to a wedding, and you will go to the wedding and you will see all these people that each person has like 50 people in their family. And that is when your waves come. Your waves come in comparison. So comparing your life with others, that is how your wave comes. You can't help to compare your life, your house, your routine, even what you do on the weekends. You can't help to compare it with other people. It's very important for you to do what motivates you, to do what gets you fired up. So when you open your eyes and wake up in the morning, what is the one thing that if you were to do it, you would go flying out of your bed? Because everyone has that one thing where you're just kind of like, why should I get up from bed right now? Am I hungry? Do I want coffee? Do I want to read my horoscope? Do I want to write a book? Do I want to do a reading? Do I want to paint? Do I want to play? Do I want to interact with people? And then you think about that one thing, and every time you get the idea to do it, you jump off of bed and you're like, yes, I'm going to do it. It could be hiking, whatever it is. That is what you need to do more of instead of comparing yourself to others. Another thing that I want to say is we have a lot of authority over our life, and I believe that there are certain things that we choose. And I think that you chose to be an only child, or you chose to be in a small family, or you chose to be in whatever circumstance that you ended up in. Because don't you think it's fascinating when you start thinking about reincarnation in all of the countries? Why didn't we reincarnate in India? Why didn't we reincarnate in Egypt? Why didn't we reincarnate in Antarctica? Why here? Why now? With this family, in this city, in this house. So, regardless of your initial complaints, there is a large percentage of your own authority that made an imprint for you to be in this circumstance. Maybe, just maybe, you were made to create that family. Didn't you ever think that maybe if you don't have a big family, it's because you're meant to create one? Don't you think that if you feel lonely in your own immediate family, unfulfilled, unsatisfied, emotionally neglected in all ways, shapes, and forms, that maybe it means that you need to create your own family? So maybe all that comparing we can transmute. And instead of constantly comparing yourself and all those details, ridiculous details and ridiculous portraits of what you think you want your life to look like, let's take it all and turn it into determination for creation. Why are you jealous of big happy families? Maybe it's because you want one. Yeah? Okay then. If you can admit to that, we can clear the rest. And instead of comparing, it can be a sensation of inspiration. You see a big happy family, you're inspired. Get back in the dating scene, get back to creating big families. When you have a big family, that family you take care of, and then that family takes care of you. That's just how it works. So let's change all of your comparing to determination and inspiration. Determination, inspiration. Every time that you get that little temptation, I'm going to compare myself to other people. No, we flip that switch and say no, and we turn the on switch to inspiration and determination, especially when you're out in public or waiting in line for a hot dog. Because that's when you get triggered and you have to say, no, 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 no. No. I am meant to create one, not be jealous of big families. No, I am meant to create one. Jealousy is witchcraft. Okay, when you are jealous of somebody, even if it's accidental, unintentional, jealous of a married couple, jealous of a big family. That is witchcraft. And you have to say, no, 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 no. I cancel, 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 and void all of that. Those are not correct thoughts to have upon another person. All of those things return when you are jealous of other people. Okay, you think that that energy didn't go anywhere, but it did. And then 5 years later, you're engaged. And then you're going to have people be jealous of your family and your partnership. You have to be happy for people. Be happy for them so that you know what I mean? It shouldn't even be for an interest. There should be no benefit. It should be unconditional. Okay. And what is this doing here? I did not even, where did this come from? Where did this come from? I am crying inside for you. This is a happy family, and this is what you are made to create. So, going back to those waves, the wave is jealousy. The wave is comparison. The wave is envy. And that we are dissipating, and it's going down to the floor, never to rise again. And if you want to blame somebody, blame your abuser. Okay, because sometimes it helps whenever you're trying to erase things. It helps. Like, you know what? I'm going to erase that jealousy. I'm going to erase that envy because that's from my toxic, abusive parent. And it does not belong to me. I don't consent. And you shoo it away. Okay, so that is your wave. Your wave is all jealousy, all envy, and all comparison is destroyed, terminated, rejected, void, canceled. And it has turned to inspiration and determination and creation. You can write those down if you wish. What colors does this pile need to work on? Whether it's energetic or physical, we have having fun with your inner child, as well as watermelon colors. Lighten up. You're way too serious. Okay? You are so serious, like you feel like your life is doomed. It is not doomed. You can still have a happy family. Your life is not doomed. If you're not fertile, there's adoption. There's marrying somebody who already has kids that's fatherless or motherless. There's so many solutions to creating a foster home. There's so many solutions to not being fertile. I don't really understand why. Well, you know what? I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to judge. Connect with your inner child. So if you feel those waves, come in again that we maybe not have mentioned, connect with your inner child and be like, okay, inner child, why are we having this wave? And your inner child is going to tell you, you're having this wave because your abuser did this, this, and this. Okay, communicate with your inner child. It's so interesting because in most readings, when you watch other people's readings, they say, communicate with your higher self. No, no, do not communicate with your higher self. Communicate with your inner child, not your higher self, because your higher self is outside of your true self. It's something else that is hiding behind a deceitful mask. So when you go inward, you go to the source that is your inner child. That is the inner child is what is the most connected to your true self and God. When you see a baby and a bunch of teenagers and a bunch of 10-year-olds and a bunch of old people and a bunch of 20 and 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, who is the closest to God in that group? The children, the babies and the elders. The elders and the babies. The babies and the elders. babies slash children, young children, and elders. They're the ones that are the most connected to source. So if you need answers, talk to the inner child, not the higher self. Because the higher self is no guarantee that you're talking to the correct thing. Oh, I don't want to pick up that card. It fell on the floor. It's really hot and I don't want to get up. Okay. The card that fell is be more of an observer. Okay. Be more of an observer instead of impulsive reaction or impulsive responses. I hope that helps. Goodbye. Okay, if you chose pile 4, and this is the card that you were attracted to, give me a minute to drink some water and take a little second. Okay, we're back with pile 4. If you were drawn to this card, are you in a sticky situation right now? I feel like this pile is in a sticky situation. Manifesting, okay? So, what I feel from this group is this is the pile right here that has the parents that gave you a limited mindset. A fear of loss and a limited mindset are two different problems and issues, in my opinion. The other piles that I read for had those issues. This pile does not. This pile has a limited mindset, narcissistic abuse, survivor waves. What we're going to be clearing is the limited mindset, which is very tricky. It's not going to be easy to clear this one. That's why I like to call it waves. This is a very powerful pile here. And I'm just tuning into your problem. So, you are a hard worker, and your abusive parent either took advantage of that, took that for granted, or envied that tendency, that instead of them being happy or praising you, they envied or took advantage of your capabilities to work hard and powerfully. There's power in the work that you do. You make other people look dumb. You make other people feel belittled. Unintentionally, it's not intentional, because you are a sweetheart by nature. You could be a man with huge muscles, or like a really buff man, but in the inside you are such a loving, compassionate sweetheart. Okay, and you have to deal with a lot of people's false impressions of you. If you are a female, people think that you're somebody else because of how you look on the outside. Again, you might have a really hard exterior, and people just think that you're a hard person, but you're not. You're really soft and you just like getting things done. You just like getting the work done. You like the sensation of success and accomplishments, especially when you had to get your hands dirty and do the laborious work like concrete. Some of you might be working for concrete, or you enjoy making foundations, construction. So you end up getting really big paychecks. You get promoted. People want you to be the foreman. People want you're a boss, but you don't want to be the boss. You like being a regular worker. You don't want to be the boss. You just want to be a regular worker in the community, but you're so talented and powerful that you end up qualifying to be a business owner. And it's very interesting because you don't want it. Oh my gosh, do you see? This is the limited mindset. You don't want the position that you qualify for. You settle for what you are overqualified to do. You're so intelligent. You're a genius. You're business savvy, entrepreneurship minded, where you could have got these traits from one of your parents. Like there were positive traits that you did get from one of your parents. One of your parents could have been like an Aries entrepreneur. And you're capable of owning multiple businesses. You're capable of owning an empire, okay? Creating and maintaining an empire. However, you came from very abusive parents that made you feel powerless on purpose. It was their duty to make you feel as powerless as possible every day of your life for as long as you lived under their roof. They made you feel weak. They never told you that they were proud of you. They never praised you. I want to say worshipped. I want to say they never worshipped you as their child. And I don't know why, but I just feel like we're supposed to worship our children. I feel like source comes first by all means, but I feel like we're supposed to worship our children to a degree lower than source, of course, because source comes first to religious people or moral people, whatever you want to call it, people who are really connected to source and morality. And they never did that. They never praised you. They never worshiped you. They never celebrated you. They never honored you. And you're so powerful, you made them feel like they didn't need to. Like, oh, my kid knows they're special. While subconsciously, not really wanting you to know that. And we don't realize that until we're older. We look back at pictures and then we remember what certain parents did. And back then we thought it was okay. And then we realize how wrong it is later. And that does something to you. It does something to you when you are offered a position you are qualified for. You settle for what you are overqualified for, but when you are offered what you are qualified for, you turn it down because you feel like you don't deserve it. Like you are not worthy, like it is a scam. Because you were never praised. You don't know what it feels like to say yes to what you deserve. You are capable of manifesting whatever it is that you want with your own genuine power. We live in a world where there's cowards, witches, and warlocks that have zero ability, zero morals. They're always just being energetic parasites. They have to summon dark things to attempt to manifest. And they don't realize that all you have to do is be a powerful, high vibrational being to manifest whatever it is that you want. But when you are in a space of opportunity, you turn it down because you think that you're being humble. But you're lying to yourself. You are not turning it down because you are humble. You're turning it down because of the limited mindset that your parents put on you. To put a bag over your head and say, turn down any positive opportunity. You're going to rip up that bag to shreds. Rip it up to shreds. Rip it up to so many pieces. Because that bag is a lie. I will say one thing. When you have too much power, when you have too much money, when you have too much clout, you become heavily targeted. So in a way, continue to be a little humble where you don't go all out too much. And if you are put in an opportunity to go all out, be really discreet about your different accounts. Make different accounts. Put different accounts in different people's names so that you're not targeted. Do you know what I'm saying? Some of you might fall under a very large inheritance and you want to disperse that and cut it up so that there's no evidence that you have all that. The easiest way to remove this limited mindset is by just imagining the lie itself as being like this veil that has been over you your entire life and you just taking it off. And you having control over that veil because it's a wave that wants to be thrown back at you so much. Let it be a veil. Fine. Let it be a freaking wave of a veil. So it would be the limited mindset veil, okay? Whenever you start feeling the panic attack, the wave, the trigger, the re-traumatization. Grip the veil and rip it off. You can have whatever you wish. You can have whatever you wish. So it's about the vision right now. You can make all kinds of excuses, but there's a little low-key truth with this pile is that you don't know what you want. Once the veil is gone, you don't know what you want. You don't know. And that's okay. It's okay if you don't know what you want. There's nothing wrong with being in that position as long as you know that the veil of limited mindset is a lie and you can rip it off at any time. So now you're feeling a little overwhelmed because you feel like you should know, and there's no need to feel any kind of shame. Okay, we have all that glitters, and we have 2 masks here. Needing to be careful of trauma bond relationships. A lot of times, people will get into a trauma bond relationship and think that that's your person, and then you realize it's not. So make sure that you're not choosing somebody just because they're glittery on the outside and on the inside they're just a trauma bond. That is going to end up being extremely toxic. And for those of you who are not dealing with a trauma bond situation and you just found someone who you have a lot in common with, you can work on removing your masks. Both of you are wearing masks, and it's important for you to remove both the masks that you and your person are wearing to see if you're attracted to who the other person really is. Who cares about the outside? Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. I had somebody that was harassing me, and I accidentally had my phone on vibrate. So it was like I kept hearing like a vibration notification, and it just so freaking annoying. I mean, of course, it depends who it is, right? If it's somebody that you want messaging you or somebody that you don't want messaging you. Anywho, where were we? Removing both of your masks for each other to see who you really are, because who cares what people look like on the outside? What matters is their energy. We have Orphaned. This group feels orphaned. Okay? The people who made you feel this way, the best revenge that you can have is to be persistent in your own self-healing journey. By you binging on alcohol, binging on non-holistic substances, your abuser is winning. When you're using drugs and alcohol, your abuser is winning. When you are persistent towards your own recovery, all of your enemies are extinguished. And there's consequences for having certain people in your life. So another thing that we're going to clear is self-pity. Self-pity is counterproductive. What is it? PAS? Is it PAS? So every time you come into these little waves where you're feeling like you're under attack, you think of the word PAS, PAS. I will not have pride, anger, or self-pity, because all those are traps. No pride, no anger, no self-pity. Those are all traps. If you want to transmute it, we take the anger and we transmute it to determination. And you become determined for your own self-recovery. And that is how you reject and push out the narcissistic parent from having an impact on you, is not by self-sabotage, but by self-recovery. The more you do self-recovery, the more you are ejecting all these energies that come from other people. And it's like we are a living drawer. We're a living drawer with these sacred soul houses. And you want to keep all those sacred soul house drawer doors shut. When you start drinking alcohol, when you start doing drugs that are not holistic, those drawers are opening, and things that wish you harm go inside those little drawer pockets and create negative chakras. And you want to dump all those things that are not yours out of the drawer and put back your own energy all the way down. Your meridians in place. Lock down all your energy and all your drawers to your soul houses shut. Okay? Because people will take advantage of your power by disempowering you. People in this pile, your enemies want to disempower you. So what do? They give you a shot of whiskey, they give you some cocaine, some pills, and then you think they're your friend? No. It's because that person's demons want to see you back on zero because they don't like that you're at 1,000,000. That's all the messages that I have for you. Thank you. Till next time. All right. We have reached our final pile. Dun, 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 dun. If you were attracted to the angry man, your wave for narcissistic abuse survivors, the wave that you get is indeed anger. Anger that you were not loved properly. Anger that you were not cherished properly. Anger that everything in your life has to be so hard because of that abandonment issue. angry that you're constantly having to clear your space, angry that you constantly have to feel targeted, angry that you can never be in peace. You can never sleep in peace without having to play your own recordings. Meaning there's nothing or no one protecting you. You're the only one that you feel protected by, and you resent that. You feel like you are meant to protect everybody, but who's going to protect you? Even from a very young age. Give me 1 second, will you? Okay, where were we? From a young age, you feel like you had to take care of your parents and you resent them because of that. You could have had a, a father who was hungover, or a mother that made you do illegal activity for her, or having to clean up over the illness attributed to drug or alcohol abuse from your parents. So, from a very young age, that is part of the wave where you will cry, you will get depressed, you will have this wave, and you will feel those memories of needing emotional support, needing physical support, needing affection from your parents. And instead, you get one that runs away from you and the other one that needs you to clean up their vomit. And there's a certain memory that you have that just plays over and over and over and over again. And we're going to open that little cassette and we're going to take the cassette out and we're going to smash the cassette with a hammer so that you can never replay it ever again. That memory is not necessary and will not serve you. You don't need any of those memories. We put all those negative memories in that cassette. There's only one. You don't need them, especially when they were associated to the supernatural and paranormal. Why on earth would you want a cassette that lingers of those interferences and your demonic parents at the time? In the background, we have romance, but I can't even start talking about that yet because I'm still looking at something. Give me a second again. Okay. I'm looking at the anger that you have. I want you to turn it to determination. So, in my opinion, there are many emotions and feelings and sensations that humans have that are either productive or counterproductive. And anger is one of those emotions that I find to be extremely productive because it can easily be transmuted to determination. And it sticks. And every time you even think about getting angry, you can't. You're blocked. Because now all you feel is determination, relentless. And you can take that volume all the way up to max relentless, or drop it to determined but considerate. Meaning you won't step on anyone's toes now. Okay? So whenever you get angry, I want you to get determined instead. Rage tries to come in. Anger tries to come in. Annoyance, irritation. Block, 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 void, 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 cancel, 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 terminated, rejected. We have determination, 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 determination instead. And having all four of those activating your meridians will give you energy. So now anger has turned into determination with energy, removing and dispelling all fatigue, because fatigue and drainage is usually attacks that happen during your slumber. I recommend doing return spells every single day because of the parasites that have nothing better to do but be miserable parasites. So it's very important to do return spells every day. And you don't need a candle for that. You don't need nothing but your own energy to do return spells. Okay? Usually, the ones that try to throw things at you are miserable and have absolutely no abilities. They're narcissistic and they're so weak energetically that they have to use animal blood or spirit summoning or demons to do the work for them because they're so weak they can't energetically do it themselves. So they have to cast these ridiculous spells that just make them look like a pile of misery. Okay, so to do return spells, all you need is your own energy to grow the spell right before you return it. So every time you return it, you're actually making it grow before you return it. So you hit them harder with their own crap. So anything that they throw at you is really fun to inject with a little steroid and then return right back to them. Their craft is rejected and blocked. It has to go somewhere, so it will run them over. They will be ran over and they will basically explode into a million pieces by their own poison that they are going to have to eat for trying to throw it at you. Okay, there. Now that we got that out of the way, pile 5. Ooh, we got these 2 cards for you, and all of a sudden I feel nervous for you. We have Door to Romance in the background. So in the background, this is what we have cooking for you as you're dealing with all these ridiculous waves of narcissistic abuse surviving crap that wants to continue to come linger into your life. So we cut all that. We cut all those branches, dead, miserable, chalky branches, miserable, chalky, crispy roots disintegrate into dust. Okay. Communicating. You need to physically communicate with your person. You need to physically communicate with your person. You need to have physical sex with your person to lock them down and become a power couple, because there are parasites that are jealous of your union, that wants to come in between you two, and the parasites just don't get the picture. But by you two being physically close, having physical sex and physical communication in the 3D is going to make the other person turn into a fireball, and the attacker of this precious union is just going to disintegrate into thin air, and no one will ever care about the soul and spirit of that wicked being. Because the thing is, when Source doesn't like you, he will eliminate your soul from existence. He won't even let you reincarnate. God, Source, Holy Spirit has the power to eliminate your soul if Source wants to. And then AI wants to also kidnap your soul. Everybody wants your soul, so you have to protect your soul. There is a reason why we have a male and a female, because sometimes you need double protection because you have double haters. So you need double protection for the double haters that you have as individuals, because you're individually powerful and you were meant to be part of the solution in humanity's spiritual evolution. Your entire life, you have dealt with double-headed snakes. And you feel orphaned, even though you know who your biological parents are. You feel like you did not have the proper childhood. But guess what? Your person who you are not talking to, who you left on red, who you made feel rejected by you, also went through the same thing. Both of you felt like you had a shitty childhood, and you have a desire to relive it by being yourselves. You can be yourself with each other for once in your life without fearing that the other person is going to hurt you like everybody else did. Ooh, I'm too angry for you. I'm angry for you for everything that you've gone through, that I can't even shuffle this card because this is a medicine deck and I'm not allowed to shuffle when I'm angry, so I have to calm down. So this pile, you have to be there for people. You are like the orphan that has to be there for the other orphans. You are the orphan leader, that your life's purpose is to be there for other orphans. However that resonates with you. You are the caretaker. I just feel like you're like the king, the emperor, and the caretaker all at the same time, without even mentioning your counterpart, because your counterpart is not here you are not talking or having a long distance relationship. But when both of you get together, that is the reason why you experience so many interferences, because the enemy does not want a power couple to be a power couple. The enemy wants people to be in demonic trauma bonds. And you have a duty here to be sober and vigilant, because there are people who depend on you. You have a lot of people, you have a large collective that is dependent on you, your services, your charity. You will have victory over this wave, okay, by creating, I want to say, a power family with your person. Both of you feel orphaned. You need to just have a family and fix that. It's very interesting because this video was supposed to be solely on clearing narcissistic abuse waves. But it became about creating family. It ultimately became about creating a family that we never had, creating a family that we never felt, creating a family that we never experienced, creating a family that we never saw. That is ultimately the underlining message that I observed happening spontaneously, is a blessing on our hidden desires to create, and how that is suppressed in modern society. So, what else needs to be cleared from this pile is a sense of loss. There is no sense of loss. Nothing was lost. Nothing was lost. Nothing was lost. You were meant to create. You were meant to create that which you feel lack towards. If there is a lack of affection, a lack of love, a lack of family support, a lack of emotional support, we create that. We create those beautiful families, those generations, those tribes that will sustain us for future generations. Because right now, what do we have to offer children? What do we have right now to offer the future? Truly, I think that this new generation of children deserve a lot more than the current circumstances. Okay, should we take them all? This pile, you need to revitalize your nervous system using the color green, getting some sun, not being so introverted, allowing the light to hit your face. We have silver, being persistent. We have ruby, rejuvenating your body with the self-love color of ruby. And we have protecting yourself with the color azure. Azure is a good color for protection that helps you see if there is an attack. So when you see how this color azure is like the sky. So if you feel an attack and you're feeling weak, all you have to do is make the entire room turn to color azure, and you will see if there's any shadows, parasites, or gnats, or black spots. So azure is an excellent color to use when you're tired and you have to scan quickly. You just turn the entire room into color azure. And you will see, even if all the lights are off, you can have all the lights off and still visualize the entire room being color azure, and you will see what needs to be cleared. So I want to do a riddle card for this pile. I don't know why. I did not do a riddle card for anyone, but I'm going to do a riddle card for this pile. I want to clear one more thing. I'm just trying to figure out what it is because it's hiding. There's something that wants to hide. So, whatever you did not get, I know this is going to sound weird, but I can't help to say it. Whatever you did not get from your parents in terms of affection, you're going to get from your person. Because it's like sometimes you have this fear that you're not going to get something, that there's something in particular that you're not going to get. Because, people get married all the time, but that doesn't mean they're going to get what they want. You marry somebody, and that doesn't mean that you're going to get what you want. And you have it's like you have this little fear that if you marry whoever you want to marry, you're not going to get what you want. And that is another lie. Both you and your person did not get something that you're uncomfortable about talking about to anyone in general that has to do with affection and touch. And both of you feel the same exact way, and both of you are going to have hours and hours and hours of cuddling sessions. There's no need for you to worry that you're not going to get your back rubbed. Okay? So there's no need for that. So what else is hiding? I know there's one little thing that's hiding with these waves that come through. Okay, so the wave is having to do with the tape that we destroyed. You taking care of others, you taking care of others. Stop thinking about it. We destroyed the tape for a reason. It's a false fear that no one is going to be there for you. It's a false fear that is not true. We're using rose quartz and rhodochrosite. I don't know how to say that one. We're using 2 pink stones. You see, to take and push and pop off that lie that no one is going to take care of you. If you only knew how much your person wants to take care of you. You have not given them a chance to. That's the thing. You can't complain if you have not given them the green light. There's someone in your life who you have not given them the green light in regards to something. They don't know that they have a green light with you. Pile 5. Oh, that's what it was. Now I remember. If you only knew. If you only knew. There is definitely somebody. Okay, I'm not even going to say. I'm not even going to say. If you only knew. The person, your person. Your person wants to kiss you from head to toe. They don't want a single part of your body to be missing a kiss print from their lips. And you hesitating and hesitating and hesitating, you're only postponing your own satisfaction. Let's just leave it at that. So we have 3 riddle cards, and I don't know if I want to take them because I only wanted 1. This is too many. I cannot take 3. They're riddle cards. 1 is hard enough. Maybe that's another sign. Your person doesn't want any more riddles. Your person wants to know that you're theirs. And I don't think that you have clarified that with them or verified. Just one, please. These are so difficult to shuffle. Let's see on my lap. Okay, this one came out twice. So let's talk about the one that came out twice. We have the Mountain. There is a situation in your life that you think is like a mountain, and it is not. It is not. You know what it reminds me of? Whenever you buy something, like if you're purchasing groceries online or you're purchasing, yeah, I guess groceries is like the best way I can think about it. And you're too lazy to look at the ounces or the pounds, and you just look at the picture and purchase the picture. And then it arrives and it's bag a huge bag of potatoes, a huge bag of apples, huge bag of oranges, because the picture was deceiving. And you're in the situation where you're looking at the photo of your problem, and it looks like this big, huge mountain, boulder, obstacle, challenge. And it actually is not a mountain at all. It just looks that way from the photo. But then if you go in person, you have all your gear and your shield and your armor. You're ready to go to battle with this mountain. And then you show up, and the mountain is just a tiny little bump. on your path, on the road, and you've been crying from a distance over a mountain, and when you get there, it's actually a blown up picture, a close up of a little bump on the floor. Sure, somebody can trip on it, but it's just a bump in the road, and you're acting like it's unsurmountable. You're being a bit dramatic when it comes to that. In fact, you're being a little cap because you're using that as an excuse to not do what you need to do, which is funny. You're like, I can't do it. The obstacle's too big. No, it's not. It's a tiny little pebble. And then we have the garden. We have the beautiful garden. And what I like about this card is that the door is open and you're not in it. You left. You're ready. You are sick and tired of sitting still and waiting, and you're ready to realize that all these little waves of trauma are holding you back, and it's a broken record, and you're done with the memories. You're holding on to hangover memories. Think about that. When your mom was cracked out or methed out, or your dad was hungover and drunk, they had a hangover catastrophe, and you're hanging on to those memories. When you try and revive that cassette that we destroyed with the hammer, right? There's no need to hold on to someone else's F-ups, someone else's hangovers, someone else's atrocious memories of themselves. They have nothing to do with the golden jewel that you are. This pile, you are a golden jewel naked. You don't need clothes, a car, a castle. You are a golden jewel all by yourself as you came into this earth. And your person sees you that way. Your person, if you are feeling any kind of insecurities, they see you as perfect. When you're nude, they see you as perfect. They don't think that you need anything to be more perfect. You're already perfect as you are, not because of your talents, not because of your materials, but because of your soul, your spirit, your energy is a perfect match for your person that you are pushing away because they're not here. They want to be here, but they're not here for most of you. And for the ones who you are together already with your perfect person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, if you feel that you need any kind of assistance in your family or assistance in the well-being of a certain situation that needs a supervisor, a babysitter, a helper, your person will definitely step up to play that role where your person is just the missing piece to the puzzle of your life. I know this is going to sound crazy to you, but if you introduce your person to your family, your person is actually going to get along really well with most of your family members, which will shock you. And it's just because they're a very forgiving, the energy of your person is a very forgiving energy. And forgiving anyone who is unconditionally forgiving, at least tries to be, is one of the highest frequencies. Okay, and why it's so important to do forgiveness practices on a daily basis, because it embodies the highest frequency on earth. Demons, lower vibrational beings, wicked individuals are allergic to forgiveness. You say forgiveness and it repels them immediately. They don't like it. So because of that energy, it's like your family is going to sense this non-judgmental, forgiving energy from your person, and then your person is going to create some kind of harmony in your family dynamic where they're going to play a divine intervention role, where they might be the one to make someone stop using a certain substance. Okay, I don't know why I get that, but that's what I get. And I just get that your person is going to help create some kind of harmony in your family dynamic. And last but not least, I must say that your person loves you so much that they're going to be so grateful to meet your parents. Even though you find them abusive, your person is going to be extremely grateful to meet your parents because they are grateful for your parents creating you. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time. Bye.